The striker is a brawler and master in martial art. He sports a variety of combat styles and utilizes his entire body to subdue the enemies in his path. He has one of the most interesting fighting styles in Black Desert Mobile. On his Ascension, he becomes Grandmaster, where he transcends all physical limitations and pummels the enemies with superhuman strength. He comes equipped with 4 super armors, 2 forward guard, 2 knockdown, 1 knockback, 1 stun, and 3 burn skills. Although he has only 3 protected skills in 1 vs 1 arena, they do come with decent cooldown times. In this video, I will be looking into the Striker and Grandmaster class, his skills, and tips you should take note when using him. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to see more of my contents when it arrives. The first skill of the Grandmaster is Shoulder Thrust. It deals 310 damage per hit with a 2 seconds cooldown time. This skill has 1 charge, and for its sub-skill, it comes with an additional attack which knocks down the target with a maximum of 3 attacks. You also get a plus 20 attack for 10 seconds, and a plus 1 increase in the number of enemies affected by the skill. And let's not forget the daze it inflicts on hit. In PvE, it might not be too effective since it has a relatively low attack compared to the rest of the skills, but it will also help in dazing tough mobs while farming, so I guess you could include it in your PvE skills. The second skill is called Full Force. Here the striker uses a barrage of powerful strike to overwhelm the enemy. It comes with 2 charges and a 5 seconds cooldown time. It deals 310 damage per hit with a maximum of 5 hits. It inflicts a daze on the second hit and a knockdown on the last hit. For its sub-skills, it increases your attack by 20 for 10 seconds. It increases the number of enemies that get affected by the skill by 1, and it also comes with all and a heap damage to choose from. This skill has no super armor, so you have to be very careful when using it against players. The next on the list is Chip Shot. It gives you 305 damage per hit with a maximum of 6 hits, and it inflicts a bond on the last hit. The skill reduces the target's movement speed by 10% for 10 seconds, has an effect that increases the damage by ×3, and also increases the range by 10%. The skill is a melee skill and doesn't go too far even with a 10% increased range, but with its ×3 damage, it would be very effective in draining your opponent's HP in PvP. This skill also has no super armor, but can be used as a follow-up skill when you must have incapacitated your enemy. With the bond on hit, it will come in handy when using on a daze or stun target. So generally, this is a pretty decent skill for both PvE and PvP. The fourth skill is Gale Force. This skill does a 550 ×3 damage. It comes with 2 charges and a 4 seconds cooldown time. You get super armor while using this skill except in the arenas, and it has a knockdown on hit. For a sub-skill, it reduces the target's movement speed by 5% for 10 seconds. It inflicts a bleed of 60 damage every 1 second for 3 seconds. It has a 10% increased range, and for the brand damage you can choose between Seret or Le Brave. This skill has a nice range and damage, so it will be good for PvP, although you have to be careful when using this skill in arena because you wouldn't have any protection there. For PvE, it would also be very effective due to the heavy damage that it gives per area. Next is Niihama. The skill comes with 1 charge. It deals 422 damage per hit with a 6 seconds cooldown time. The skill grants you super armor while using it, and it has a stun on hit. For its sub-skill, it increases your defense by 20 and reduces the MP cost by 5. I personally feel this was the wrong skill to put a super armor on because it doesn't really go too far and the damage is really small. The animation is also too fast for the cooldown time they gave it. The skill is also not too effective in PvE for the same reason, but with the super armor on the skill, you will definitely want to use it in PvP. Next is Energy Vacuum. It comes with 2 charges with a 6 seconds cooldown time. It deals 305 ×3 damage, and it inflicts a daze on hit. It grants you forward guard while using the skill except in the arenas, and the skill pulls the enemy closer while it's being active. For a sub-skill, it grants you 1 extra hit which increases the overall damage. It also increases the attack range by 10%. The third sub-skill gives you super armor instead of forward guard while using the skill, so you have an all-round protection for the skill duration. Its brand damage comes with both Ahib and Seret damage, so you can choose between the two. This skill would be great for PvE because of the AoE damage. It would also be great in Ramones and Node War because of its stays, but since you aren't protected in 1 vs 1 PvP, you might want to be very careful when using the skill in 1 vs 1 arena. Hell Sweep is the 7th skill for the Grandmaster. The skill comes with 2 charges and a 6 seconds cooldown time. You deal 405 damage with a maximum of 4 hits. You get super armor while using the skill, except in the arenas, and you inflict a bond on the last hit. For the sub-skill, you reduce the target's movement speed by 10% for 10 seconds. It heals 60 HP per hit, so you can restore some of your health with the skill. It also has an effect that increases the damage by ×3. For the brand damage, you can choose between either Ahib or Lebrave. This skill will be good in PvE because of its damage and heal, and with the increased damage and bond on hit, it is definitely good for PvP if you know how to use it correctly. The next skill is Spiral Cannon. It has 1 charge with a 10 seconds cooldown time. It deals 325 damage per hit for a maximum of 5 hits. It inflicts a knockback on hit and has a pretty decent range. For a sub-skill, it decreases the target's DP by 20 for 10 seconds. It also reduces the target's movement speed by 5% for 10 seconds. You can reduce the skill's cooldown time by 2 seconds, taking the skill from 10 seconds to 8 seconds cooldown time. And you can increase the distance of the skill after doing a forward evasion roll. This skill is one of the sweetest skills of the Grandmaster because of its wild range. It's a skill you can use to close up the gap between you and the enemy, or give a lot of distance between you and them. Although you have to be really careful when using this skill because it is unprotected, so you can get knocked down or knocked up if the enemy skill gets you first. The last skill of the Grandmaster is just nasty. It's called Disrespect, as you can see him dragging the enemy along the ground. This skill comes with 1 charge and a 14 seconds cooldown time. You deal 100% damage per hit with a maximum of 7 hits, which is 700 damage. The skill grants you super armor while using it. You inflict a bond on grab, and the skill deals the same damage to enemies within the area. For the sub-skill, you inflict a bleed of 60 damage every 1 second for 3 seconds. You decrease the target's DP by 20 for 10 seconds, and you reduce the skill's cooldown time by 3, taking the skill from 14 seconds to 11 seconds cooldown time. This skill is definitely a yes for PvP because of the grab, super armor, and the duration of the skill. In PvE, you might decide not to use it as it does not do much damage and it does not affect bigger mobs. Another good thing about the skill is the grab effect that it has in PvP opponents. Since grab goes through super armor, you can still catch your opponent with this skill even when they are spamming their super armor skills near you. So that is that about the Striker and the Grandmaster. To me, he is a pretty decent class to play, though I would say he would be a little bit difficult in 1 vs 1 arena because some of his super armor are nerfed and don't work in 1 vs 1 arena. But for Ramones Arena and Node War, he would be a beast, and you really have to watch out when playing against him. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to receive more similar content from me. You can also feel free to comment below and tell me what you think about the video or what you would like to see from me next. With that said, bye bye.